Hello, welcome to this episode of Unrestricted Flavor. Today we are going to make soups. We are going to make a baked potato soup and a chicken tortilla soup. Throughout my journey of being sick, I have found three aspects of living to be the most difficult. Number one, cost. Number two, convenience. And then number three, flavor. We've already addressed flavor in our first episode, but I want to talk a little bit about cost and convenience. So first of all, everything that somebody with digestive issues and limited with their diet, everything that they have to purchase costs 3 to 5 times more than the normal product. So one of the things that I try to work really hard on is using cheaper products in my soups especially. So a lot of the ingredients will be fresh and we don't use a lot of the gluten-free products, so we don't have to worry about that kind of cost. The other thing is convenience that I wanted to talk about. One of the things is I either have to be prepared for my meals or I just go without food. And so this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this show now is that you can set up, have 2 giant crock pots of soup and be able to freeze those and be able to use them whenever you need in the future. One of the issues that has been really difficult is vacationing. Will I get sick? What will I eat? How will I eat? And so you do have to do a lot of prep work. So in future episodes, I will be addressing different types of on-the-go types of meals. But for right now, we're going to focus on a meal that you can cook on a Sunday and have food for the rest of the week. What I did before is I started with crock-potting my chicken. So we have about 6 pounds of chicken. I crock-potted it in water and then just used a stick of olive oil, country crock, plant-based butter. And it's just been sitting here for a few hours getting done. All right, so right now I am dividing the chicken. I'm taking about half of the chicken out of the crock pot and I'm going to use this chicken in my baked potato soup. The rest of the chicken we'll shred and leave in the crock pot with the chicken stock and that will become our chicken tortilla soup. All right, so right now I am shredding the chicken that is left over for the chicken tortilla and I cubed up the chicken for our potato soup. All right, we're gonna start with our potato soup. We're gonna add our diced chicken to the crock pot. All right, we are going to add 8 cups of lactated whole milk. And so one helpful hint, you want to try and get your chicken free of the butter from the crock pot. If you have too much butter in your baked potato soup, it will separate. So if you want it to look milky and creamy, you want to keep that oil out of your baked potato soup. All right, now we are going to cut up our 3 large baked potatoes. They are already cooked. We're going to cut off the skin. I can't digest the skin. If you are okay with the skin, you can just dice it up and throw it in. But I will cut off the skin and dice it up and add it to my soup. Now that our potatoes are diced, I'm going to add those to the crock pot. All right, now we are ready to add all the other ingredients. So first thing we're going to do is add our cream cheese, our carrots, our diced ham, our bacon, and then we have a half a cup of chives, half a teaspoon of celery salt, a half a teaspoon of thyme, a full teaspoon of ground mustard, a teaspoon of oregano leaves, and a teaspoon of basil. All right, so now that all of our ingredients are in, we're just going to put in about a teaspoon of pepper and a tablespoon of salt, but you can add to your taste as much as you want. All right, we're gonna turn that on. We've got it on high for 6 hours, and we're now going to move on to our chicken tortilla soup. All right, now that we have our potato soup going, we are gonna switch gears to our tortilla soup. So we left our chicken and we shredded it inside of the chicken stock that we created earlier. And now we are going to peel some gold potatoes, some Yukon Gold potatoes. We'll use 4 of these diced in our tortilla soup. All right, now that we have our chicken and our chicken stock in our crock pot, we are going to start adding our chicken tortilla soup ingredients. First thing we'll do is our 4 Yukon Gold diced potatoes, and these are not cooked at the moment, so they will cook with the soup. What we have is about 12 cups of water. That's what I cooked our chicken in, and so that water is going to be our base for the soup. We are going to add 2 star anise. We have 2 tablespoons of oregano, 2 tablespoons of ground paprika, 3 tablespoons of ground cumin. We have half a cup of chives, 1/4 cup of cilantro. We have, let's see, half a cup of shredded carrots. We have 2 whole red peppers, 1 green pepper. Remember from my last episode, green peppers are not low in FODMAP, so they can be difficult to digest. I do like them for flavor, so I do add them. You definitely don't need them if you don't want to. I have 1 whole orange and 1 whole yellow pepper. And we have about a tablespoon of salt, and a little pepper for flavor. And then the last ingredient, I will throw in half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Now this crock pot is warm already because we cooked our chicken in it earlier. So everything in here is pretty well cooked except for the potatoes. So you really just need this on low for about 4 hours before you're ready to serve. And there you have it, our baked potato and our chicken tortilla soup. And just a reminder, there's a lot of food here, but you're gonna be well fed for a while. So this does freeze. I usually just portion it into single servings and have it in the freezer for whenever I need it. I can just defrost and microwave. If I know I'm gonna be having people over, I might freeze a larger portion and just put that in the pot and defrost it. But you are ready to go for a while. All right, I want to take a couple minutes and just talk about stress and dealing with stress through a chronic illness. Living with a chronic disease is difficult in itself. Unfortunately, when stress builds up and piles up on you, it feels unbearable. 3 months ago, I found myself dealing with a tremendous amount of stress, dealing with this illness first and foremost, but then I also am dealing with the loss of a job, and I'm now currently going through a divorce. So I've spent a lot of time in therapy and my own self-therapy, walking in the forest. And ultimately, how have I been able to overcome that stress and still maintain a healthy lifestyle? I sat down and with my therapist and with myself, I came up with 3 simple things. Acceptance is number 1, number 2 is patience, and then number 3 is the fortitude. Acceptance, number 1, dealing with this illness was tough. Dealing with my changing body, changing circumstances. I didn't want to accept it. I wasn't willing to. I wanted my old self back. And I lost years fighting that. I just needed to come to terms with the fact that this is my new self and I can't do anything about it. So I spent a lot of time in the woods just grieving and feeling this pain, and just coming to terms with it and accepting it. And since I've been able to do that, I've been able to move quickly, or not quickly, but move on through some stages and figure things out for myself. And then it goes along with the next thing, and that's patience. Before I was sick, I had a drive. I wanted to, when I thought I felt something was right, or I felt like I had to have it done, I wasn't patient. I went and attacked whatever it was. And I believe I've made a lot of people mad in my time. And so I've learned that in many things in life, you can't force it. Sometimes you just have to wait and be patient with the pain that you have. So accepting and then being patient and allowing life to come to you a little bit. And then lastly is the fortitude. We need strength to get through a chronic disease. It takes strength every day. And sometimes we lose sight of that. And so we need to find this strength among other people. I did a lot on my own, but I can't survive this illness by myself. And that's why, in a lot of ways, I'm starting this group, I'm starting this channel to try and create a community so that we can get through this grieving process and get through this illness together. So hopefully this helps. It's helped me get through a lot of the stress and just coming to terms with my current life situation. And because I've been able to deal with things that way, I am very excited for my future. And I look forward to every day instead of wanting to stay in bed. So if you ever need to talk, have a question, please reach out. Thank you.